Another issue that's been, I suppose, a hot topic today in the paddock, and that is Aston Martin and the comparison between your car and their car. Now, we know there was an FIA investigation because of the similarities, or perceived similarities between, well, I mean, look at the side pods there and certain elements of the floor too. FIA said there's no problem. Both you and them complied. They reverse engineered things and there was no wrongdoing. That's what they said. You then released a statement which said along the lines of, you know, it's flattering to be imitated. However, if there's been any sort of exchange, I'm praising here, of IP, then there'd be an issue. Was there anything insinuated in that from your side?
Well, imitation is the biggest form of flattery at the end of the day, and you know, it's no coincidence that we've had, you know, a few individuals that have transferred from Red Bull to Aston Martin over the winter and the early part of this season. And of course, you know, it was brought to our attention actually by the FIA earlier in the week, where they said, we've got a car that looks remarkably like yours. Can we have a list of your levers to see, you know, where they went? So of course that immediately, you know, raises alarm bells. Now, what is permissible is, you know, we see it up and down the paddock. Individuals move from team to team after a garden leave period. What they take in their head, that's fair game. That's their knowledge. What isn't fair and what is totally, you know, unacceptable, which we wouldn't accept, is if there has been any transfer of IP at all. So of course, have you got any evidence of that? Well, yeah, I'm not going to disclose exactly where we are with, you know, with certain individuals, but you know, it would be an offence. It would be a criminal offence, you know, because IP is a team's lifeblood. It's what we invest, you know, millions and millions of pounds into, and you wouldn't want to see that just turning up in a rival organisation. Otherwise, you know, we may as well franchise it. We may as well, you know, be able to sell aerodynamics. But what you're saying is quite a serious allegation, obviously. So presumably you're investigating this internally, are you? We will have an internal investigation. We've got our own, you know, software protections. We know, you know, exactly, you know, what software is looked at, where that software, you know, is controlled. But I think that, you know, it's the job of the regulator, the FIA, because they have the access, and we rely very much on them to ensure that there is no transfer of IP, that there has been, you know, no abuse of that. And so it's very much their job, you know, to go and police that.
I mean, what sort of material would constitute abuse of your rights over your own IP? I mean, if someone's got photographs, I mean, currently we're working off of photographs. It looks like Aston Martin are working off of pictures of a car. That's what they seem to be saying, is that they reverse engineer it that way by taking the look of something and they copy it. But
the look of this wasn't even released until a month or so ago. So the work started way before that.
I see.
And so
they say it's been in the pipeline for a long time, though. And
yes, well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So you know, the updates weren't even seen by that point. So you haven't reverse engineered it from a picture because it didn't exist on our car. Okay. So you know, what we want to ensure, and we have a duty to do, is to just ensure that no IP has in any way transferred between one organisation and another, because that would be very much a breach of the rules.
What's your next move?
Look, we'll work with the FIA. You know, as I say, as the regulator, it's down to them. In reality, it's the precedent that it set. It's not the biggest of issues for us unless Aston Martin start beating us. But for the teams that are in that midfield, you know, it could have a material effect on them. And I think the biggest thing for us that we want to ensure is that our IP is, you know, is protected and it hasn't been abused.
So it's just finally, the result of the FIA investigation is not the end of this matter as far as you're concerned?
They've said that they've followed a timeline and they're accepting of, you know, what